Hey, Sponge Do Buckaroos. How the heck are you? You know who I am, right? We've been through this already, man. anyway, anyways, I digress. Check this real quick, make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. Close enough, I think. No, not really in this funky light. I didn't realize the lighting was so weird on it. It's like it light keeps changing. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, I thought it looked like a neat little lounge kind of thing, but it's not working quite the way I'd hoped. I should have just stayed in my little corner over there. Anyway, anyways, I digress. Oops, hit the wrong button again. So again, keep hitting the wrong button. It's going somewhere else on me. All right. Okay, there we go. Anyways, I just got home from work a little bit ago, long enough to take a shower and get some stuff ready. Prepared some beer and some whiskey neat, and if the situation demands it, I've got a cocktail waiting in the wings, but we'll see how this goes first. May do a second video, but I got it ready just in case. What I have here is a nice double IPA from Banter Brewing out of Springfield, Missouri. It's 8.3%. And in the interest of full disclosure, I do work for them. But what I'm doing here isn't a review. I'm just enjoying a beer, man. I'll give you some tasting notes as they come to me, but that's not really the purpose of the video. But if you want to go back in time, I think I'll go back to look at some of my old videos from before I started working at Banter. You're going to find I was a fan of their beer long before I became an employee. But nevertheless, there's always those, skeptical folks. Ugh, this beer's nice. Started out as more of an incarnation of a double IPA version of their signature hazy iron gospel, but it kind of took a different turn. They added some limoncello to the mix to really make it just a bright summer double IPA. Even at 8.3%, that's been the problem with this beer, or you can call it a problem or not, but is folks tend to drink it very fast. It is rather easy to drink. You don't necessarily taste that 8.3. Again, it was just meant to be this very bright summer double IPA, but it's really grabbed an audience. People really enjoy this sucker. Myself being one of them. I'm gonna set this down for a second and pick up my whiskey. So I decided to grab one of my birthday whiskeys. I'm under half of it now, probably about maybe a third left, maybe somewhere between a quarter and a third, I guess. A couple good friends, Brian and Jason, got this for me. It's the Weller, the original weeded bourbon, special reserve. It's a 90 proof. It's a nice. I feel this is really a whiskey that ought to be drank neat. And since this is my first alcohol of the day, as I said, just coming home from work, I thought I'd start top shelf and work my way down the food chain. Start with a nice big beer, some top shelf whiskey neat, and just relax, man. God, the nose on this is just insane. I've worked through a lot of my birthday whiskey quicker than I anticipated. Some of it I opened up there and shared with some friends, but nevertheless, really been enjoying it though. Got a vacation coming up in a little over a week. Got a chance to meet up with a couple old friends. So I'm looking forward to that. And hitting some new breweries, some breweries I haven't hit before, or maybe a couple I have, but it's been over a decade since I've been to them. So one in particular, Stone's Throw, they were just starting when I was there last, and now they've been around over a decade. So I'm curious to see how they've evolved. Diamond Bear is another one that I'd been to, and I'll probably try to get to them. They've been known to be good, right? But I will tell you, my visit there, again, well over a decade ago, was very nice. They had stuff available there at the brewery that wasn't anywhere else, and the food there was outstanding. I remember having some gumbo that was crazy good. But they're kind of known for that kind of thing out in that part of the country. These are my classic. Another one of mine. I've got. You might have noticed a couple, three different styles. My Jack Daniel's glass here. Forgot about this one. I use the other two round ones, but I kind of forget about this one. Great glassware. So it is the middle of the week, but I am off tomorrow. I'm off Wednesday. I guess Wednesday is the middle of the week, a hump day, as it were. Uh, Work Monday and Tuesday, off Wednesday. Then I'm back Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But since I'm off tomorrow, I would have a little bit to drink this evening, do a video, maybe two. Oh, and if anybody's still up out there and watching, I appreciate you. Any friends would like to be part of the video, just let me know, and I will send you the link. Typically via Messenger. But I understand it's Tuesday and it's late, so I get if you're not up and watching me, man. I understand. But again, if you'd like to be part of the video, let me know, and I will send you the link. Bear with me. I'm trying to fix something real fast. Apologize for not giving you my much attention. As always, if you got any questions or comments, please put it up there. If you want to have a conversation, tell me what you're drinking. Pick that beer back up again. Again, it's a 8.3% double IPA from Banter Brewing called Gaines Revelation, but it is just a bigger version of their Iron Gospel. There we go. Get back over here again. Oh, a good day at work today. You know, it's funny. You have certain days where you see certain people, right? Well, typically, today was a little bit different because the usual folks I see on a Tuesday weren't there. But then I had other folks that I also typically see on Tuesday showed up anyway. And then I had a handful of new folks, and then several folks had been there before, but had been a while or weren't necessarily regulars. So it was nice. It was a good day. It's a good Tuesday, man. Tuesdays are cocktail day, and I love that. 'Cause it's $2 off cocktails, so I like to. We have certain cocktails on the menu, but I usually try to do a feature or two, if you will, just have a different cocktail. It's kind of a riff on something we already have. What I did today was kind of a version of a Martinez that I hadn't done before. But since I had the ingredients, I wanted to kind of try it. So I got somebody to try it. They said they really liked it. The other one was I kind of wanted to do uh, I make my own Collins, right? You know, we don't use a pre-made mix, so I put it together right there. But I did a blueberry version of a vodka Collins for someone, and they said they really enjoyed it. So this brings me a lot of pleasure. It does. Brings me a lot of pleasure when folks like my stuff. Cover that up. Pick up this whiskey again. It's a nice whiskey. I will be honest though. I mean, I am kind of an old school guy. I do love a traditional bourbon that uses rye as a secondary, but you do understand why whiskeys like this are so popular. This thing is just so nice, so easy to drink, beautifully aromatic, a lot of caramel, vanilla, the usual suspects, of course, but there's just so much more going on. 90 proof. It's a delectable whiskey. Just that perfect velvety smooth mouth feel. It's just gorgeous, man. Yeah, thank you, Brian and Jason, for giving this to me. I appreciate that, man. I had a great birthday party. I haven't, I don't know if I've ever had a birthday party quite like this. My wife wanted to have a party, and I was kind of going back and forth on it. And I said, well, we're not going to go away. Let's just do it. I had to be involved to a certain extent because of, having it at my workplace, but I was trying to step back as much as possible. But as turns out, I have more friends than I thought I had. It was very nice to see how many people turned out, and we had told people not to bring gifts, but they did anyway. Because I have one friend, and I think I told him no, there's no gifts, and I said okay, but they brought gifts. People just don't listen. Not that I'm complaining. I just didn't want to think they had to bring something, right? So I said no gift. Oh, mercy. It was nice at 60, to see folks turn out to turn out just to see you and wish you happy birthday. Get to talk to a lot of people on the, instead of being on that side of the bar, be on this side of the bar. It was a lot of fun. I mingled for a period of time, but then I ended up settling at a particular table with a couple friends, Tyler and Levi's wife Ann, and that's kind of when things went awry for. I can honestly say for my birthday, I only drank half a beer. That's all I had. In fact, I didn't even finish it. But I got my mug when I first got there, and I filled it up because okay, I got to pace myself. Got to pace myself. So I just got half a beer, and so I got around talking to people, trying to mingle, not really drinking much. I was doing really good. I mean, I really was. until until people start bringing me whiskey bottle and sit at the table, and then more stuff starts showing up, and this came and that came, and then Tyler had some whiskey he wanted to share, and then Levi had some whiskey to share, and then other folks brought some whiskey to share. At some point, I just lost control of the whole thing. Again, my intent was to pace. I started out pacing myself very nicely, but anyways, it was still very nice. You have an old friend show up that I hadn't seen in a couple years, Frank. So it was nice to see him and knock a few back with him as well. Uh, my sister and brother, my brother lives in town, but his circumstances were such I didn't expect him to come out, but he did. My sister came down, and it's still not too far away, but it still was still a meaningful effort for her to come out, and brought her daughter, my niece, out, and her new husband. So it was fun. But yeah, you can have the best of intentions, and things are just going to go right on you. You just got to go with it. Uh, uh, as long as I didn't get fired, I still had a job to come back to, so all was good. But it was nice. I love the place that I work at. There's just a lot of folks that come together in a very particular way, and it's something that I've really never seen before. And I've talked to several folks that come in on a regular basis, and a few of them we've never necessarily been friends before, but our paths have crossed at the other breweries, and we've talked about all the places we've been to over the years and all the breweries that have been through Springfield, and some that are still here that have made it, some have come and gone. And we all agree that there's never been a place that really brings people together quite like this. And some people don't like this descriptor I'm about to give you, but I do. It is some do, uh, but I liken it to the island of misfit toys, right? Because we're a whole bunch of people that really don't belong anywhere, but in that one spot, we all belong. Right? We all everything seems to fit. For the most part, everybody gets along with it, with a few exceptions. But yeah, it's that one place where everybody feels at home. Whereas maybe they like the other places for one reason, but that place has a different feel about it. Set that down. I'm gonna focus back on that beer for a minute. Again, I really like this beer. It's just so bright. It's fresh. You really feel those lemon notes combined with the other citrus and tropical fruit notes. It's just bright. It's clean. It's refreshing. And it's not something a double IPA always is, right? I mean, they are a very particular animal. But that's the thing. You are at 8.3%. You don't, well, you notice it later, but you don't taste that it's 8.3%. Uh, but maybe though, just for whatever reason, I'm really feeling those lemon notes brighter than typical today. Uh, so I've got no major plans for my day off tomorrow, other than um, I think it's going to be the last and a chaser episode. We may continue. I don't know. I haven't heard on. I know it'll be the last episode with the Beer Samurai, which is kind of a bummer. But I know everybody, all three of us that have been doing that show, have a lot going on at this moment in time. And I think being able to make that every other Wednesday has been difficult, which is why the schedule has been a little erratic. And some may feel that the show hasn't develop the viewership it should have in the amount of time. But we haven't been doing it all that long for one. And then what I just mentioned, I think, as part of the issue is that the schedule has been erratic. There's been a lot of changes in the schedule, which I think has made it hard to maintain steady viewership. We do seem to get a lot of the same people, but as far as gaining new viewers, we haven't. But then again, we haven't done it as long. One of the hosts had mentioned, well, this other show, we have this, but they've done that show quite a bit longer than this one. So, and it's hard to tell putting that same effort into this show if it would have gained that viewership over time. Uh, and I don't know if it'll continue or not, to be honest with you. But I am looking forward to the one tomorrow. It, it'll be the last episode with the three of us if the show does continue, and if it doesn't continue, well, it'll be just it. It'll just be the swan song. So, and whatever happens, happens. I mean, like I said, it's been difficult for all three of us to work it into our schedule. That's why we haven't. It was supposed to be every other Wednesday, but sometimes it's been like one Wednesday a month. uh, 2 Wednesdays every 6 weeks, kind of thing. There hasn't been that real steady. So it is tough to develop viewership when you're that erratic. But it has been fun to do. But I will admit, some Wednesdays have been hard for me. I've had to bow out of a few episodes because of work. I've had to pick up a shift on a Wednesday. And I would say that if we were at a once a week show, it might have been easier to put viewership together. But I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have that availability to do a once a week show. I just don't. Well, I was on a steady baseline. I could do this, right? I know I'm off Wednesday, so I come late night on a Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, the schedule isn't permitting for the others, and that's kind of the thing is between the three of us, it's hard to get all three of us on that same schedule, and it's really difficult. I don't really drink during the week if I have to work the next day. And sometimes I'll work, I'm off the Wednesday, we'll do the show, but then I'm working Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I'm putting 30 hours in 3 days. And sometimes, and there's was been a couple times where I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And, so you never get a chance to recover from doing the show. I will tell you, I have enjoyed it though. I do kind of feel like the original premise and the chaser was to do pairings. I feel like we may have kind of lost that theme along the way, and I think that's probably because when you've got three hosts per se, you've got a lot of different ideas, and you've got three people with three different mission statements, right? Three different ways they think it ought to go, and that I think that's been the hardest part is to build the ideas. We all have different ways of going about things. For me, I always think the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line, right? I always want to keep it simple, right? This is the idea. Let's just keep it. And then others want to say, well, but we could add this or we could do this. And I just feel like not that those ideas are bad, but it's not me, right? It's not me to keep making things more complicated or harder to pull a show together. I want it to be as easy as possible so it all flows. And I think that's been probably the biggest difficulty is getting all three of us on the same page. Uh, so what's going to happen with that's going to happen. We'll see. I do consider the other host for that show, Beer Samurai and Jersey Johnny, very good friends, and they're certainly very knowledgeable about what they do. So whatever decision is made is I'm fine either way. To be honest with you, the show keeps going. Well, I would like to give it a shot, going in a very specific direction. But I know everybody's life is changing right about now. There's different things happening, so being able to do that show at a very specific time every other Wednesday, I understand how that can be a little difficult. So, anyways, I do have a cocktail ready, but I think I'm going to wrap this video up and start a different one. Uh, because trying to use a background is just pissing me off. It's just not working the way I want it to. I'm gonna go back to my little corner with with my bar stuff. It's just easier to focus on. Anyways, I'm down to beer whisper. Actually, I'm gonna set that down for a second before I finish that and get to my whiskey here. I'm also Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. I finished up my Weller here. Going back to vacation, yeah. So we're going to someplace we've been, but it's been over a decade since we've been there. Now we'll probably try, although not guaranteed, to revisit a couple of breweries that I've been to before. There's been so many that have opened up since I was there, so I'm looking forward to going to them as well. And I've got I'm going to stuck in my throat there. And I've got another friend I'm going to meet up with one day and maybe take a drive out to Hot Springs and hit some breweries as well. So, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. I'm done the whiskey whisper, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom, man. Oh, that's a good whiskey. I'm also Tom the beer whisper, beer evangelist, prolific drinker, prayer wisdom. All right, good.